The first rule in grip sport is you tell everyone about grip sport.
Crushing, pinch grip, thick bar, wrists.
If the best guy in the world can't lift 100 pounds on it, I don't give a shit about it.
All right, Jedd. So, worldwide grip battle just took place. Had venues running from February 8th to 22nd. And you got all the final results tallied up, all that stuff. So, I'm going to go ahead and get a recap going and just kind of break it down for everybody. I guess a good place to start really quick. I know there's a video already on your channel. You've explained the grip sport, totaling elite process, kind of how that came about. But if you wanted to do like a quick summary, now would probably be just a good time if anybody hasn't seen that video or been caught up.
Well, Zach, it's real easy. It's real easy. Powerlifting has a 3-lift total for bench, squat, and deadlift. And back in 2011, the 3 core lifts of grip were the gripper, the max gripper with a 20-millimeter block, the Euro 2-hand pinch, and the axle deadlift. So what I did is I took a bunch of numbers from a bunch of lifters at the time, and I was looking where people were, and there was only one person, Chad Woodall, who had totaled 800 pounds across those 3 lifts. So I was at, I don't know, 700 something. So I chose 800 as the total. That's all the research and, analysis that went into it. But what you have to understand is I'm one of the most intelligent people in this sport. So things come easier to me when it comes to knowledge, awareness, and you don't need to spend a lot of time thinking about stuff. You don't need to spend a lot of time going through the data when everything comes so easy.
I got you. That makes sense.
Do you understand that, Zach? Do you understand what this belt is?
I do.
This is the United States Championship. This is the only title in all of grip sport that matters. And right now, it's sitting on the shoulder of the prettiest man in grip sport, whether the shades are on or the shades are off.
All right. I got a question for you.
The chin strap is always here, and this strap is always going to be right here.
All right, Jedd, I got a question for you on that before we dive back in on worldwide grip battle. Do you really think you're bringing that belt to Ohio and leaving with it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
There's no doubt about it. Training started today for that contest. I was extremely happy with how things went. And as you know, on top of being extremely intelligent, extremely pretty, I am also extremely confident.
Okay.
And when things are going NAPALM's way, they stay that way.
Okay. We'll see. Like I said, Ohio, May 31st. We're going to see what happens.
That's right.
I don't know.
So we're not here to talk about that, Zach. We're here to talk about
worldwide grip battle.
I
know. So, you basically had 20-millimeter block set for grippers, the Euro pinch, 2-hand, and axle, double overhand. It is possible to total elite doing single-hand Euro and a single-hand axle, but for this competition, both of those were the 2-hand style. So, and also you chose 800 for the old elite total, but then since then it has been changed per weight class. There's kind of like a ladder that goes up based on your weight class.
We adapted it to the various weight classes. As I recall, there were no weight classes when I developed that.
Okay.
When I developed that initial number.
Mm-hmm.
The 1-hand elite also did not exist, and I don't remember when that was developed. But as you know, things in grip tend to go in patterns. So like for right now, we've got a lot of contests going on where the axle is being contested. So there was a period where the 1-hand lifts on the Euro and on the axle were being contested. So it made sense to develop an elite list, an elite qualification for the one hand lifts as well. I just don't remember when that was. I want to say it was probably around 2014 because that was when King Kong started. There was a one hand axle lift in that, as I recall, and then also there was a one hand axle and one hand pinch in Gripmas that year. By
Okay.
the way, I don't know if anybody can tell, but this is an Andre the Giant T-shirt, and it says the eighth wonder of the world. And if anybody wants to know what the ninth and 10th wonders of the world are, they're right here.
All right. Um, so, um, overall for Worldwide Grip Battle, we had you held a venue. Ben Helms had one in Virginia. Jason Dingey did one in Ohio,
Andy
and
Munsey.
Andy Munsey did one. Is he Washington or Oregon? Or he's
Yeah.
Oregon? Or
Uh, I think he's I think he's Washington.
okay, and then Dustin McFarland was
Dustin
Oregon.
McFarland. Yeah,
Okay, so and I think that was all five.
yeah, that's all five.
So five venues had 20 plus lifters. I think 25 or something total,
Yep.
maybe.
And I have no problem calling it Worldwide Grip Battle when the events were only taking place in the United States, because that's pretty much exactly what happens in every major sport in the United States. So if anybody has a problem with it, take it up with the NFL, NHL, NBA, and MLB.
Or just have these people sanction their venue in other countries because they could do that. They could join too. It wasn't exclusive to the U.S. anyway.
You said a mouthful there, Zach.
Yep. So, um, man, how did you want to start off with this? Maybe just going into grippers and who
Well,
did
the
what on
first
that?
thing I want to start off with right now is the fact that you've got that camo hat on. It looks pretty sweet, but it's a good thing you do because nobody wants to see that homeless bag of beef turds that you have on top of your head that I had to look at earlier and you subjected me to.
Oh,
So
I got the hair
thank
grown
you.
out.
Thank you, and
Yep.
everyone else does as well.
I have the hair grown out, Jed. People don't know that. Um,
First event was the 20 millimeter block set grippers, and what we did here is we used all Canon rated grippers. So I have the NAGS set, the old
mhm.
NAG set that we developed in like 2015, 2016. Plus, if anybody had any of their personal Canon rated grippers, they were able to throw them on the table. So when you see that there was a gripper close that didn't end in 0 or 5, it was someone's gripper that had previously been rated by Canon. But we did not use any grippers that were rated by anybody else here in Wyalusing.
Yeah, and I assume that's what almost everybody else. I mean, everybody that I know did the same as well because I mean that was pretty much put out in the rules and everything.
Yeah, I can't
Um,
remember what was in the rules, to be honest, but we went when there was a question on anything, we went to what was in the rules document uh, so that we weren't varying in any way from what anybody else would be following,
yeah. And Ben Helms had the top gripper close with a 199.
which is pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, no, that's a major close. Luke Raymond took second with a 170. You were right behind him with a 163. Dingy with 160. Evan Chaz 160. Clint Ziegler 155. And then, like I said, it kind of drops off there down into the 150s and everything. I don't want to go too much and list all 20 plus people, but yeah,
Yeah,
for your top range people, that's pretty much everybody that was 155 and up on those gripper closes. And
yeah.
yeah, any surprises there? Is that kind of what you thought you'd hit or
I was real happy with the 163. I
okay.
hadn't closed anything rated 160 or above in my training that I recall. Maybe a 162.
Mhm.
The 165 was way too much. It was way too much. But I did close I think I did 160, then 163, and I think I tried the 165 twice without looking at everything. Uh, but I
Okay.
know I tried that 165, and Luke said it was super close. It felt like it was a mile away, but he said it was like paper thin. So just about got it. So I was happy. I got kind of a bounce back from my training, taking a week off.
All right. And then, like I said, is there anything else to add about grippers there that you want to mention? I mean, like I said, I mean, Ben with the 199 kind of steals the show, but then still, I mean, you have, I don't know, half the pack was still closing threes or more as far as the Captains of Crush 3, RGC or more. I mean, I think it's still pretty good, statement for like all the people that were competing, the level of grippers that were still being closed, even though they're not 199 or whatever, they're still in the 140s, 150s. And I mean, it's about half the pack or more.
Yep.
So
Yep, for sure.
I think that's a good thing.
Yep.
And then I guess we go, second event would be the two-hand pinch for the Euro. And Jason Dingey took the top lift at 255.
Yeah.
I
Which
lifted with Jason, man. It looked like he hit that pretty easy, and I honestly thought 265 was going to come up, and just kind of stalled out on him a couple attempts, and he just couldn't make it happen that day. But I know he's done that in training, and
yes, I saw him perform a 265 on Instagram and figured for sure that would be the mark to beat. But as we all know, it doesn't all fall together as well as it does for Napalm on competition day.
no, and I think
There's not much I
Jason,
can do about that for you guys.
and then Jason is he'd probably blame Mike Saffel for that. I think he blames
Well,
Mike. I think he says Mike messed his chalk up or something. I don't know, but
wouldn't doubt it. You can depend on Mike to screw something up any given chance.
yeah, Jason took the top lift at 255 pounds there.
No,
Followed.
you can't touch the belt. Be gone. Sorry, Zach.
No, you're good. You got fans down there on Main Street?
Yeah, they're just coming in, they're popping in.
Yeah, won't
I don't
stop.
know. It's this level of people here in Bradford County, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
But they'd never seen a belt before. They don't even wear them around their pants.
So Ben Helms right behind him with 250. Luke Raymond 245. You at 240. And
Yeah, I
then
should have had more. I held that at the top for like, I don't know, an hour.
yeah.
I should have gone up, but I had to play it. I had to play it safe. I've been dealing with a lot of tears, and it ends up I'm like the only person in this venue that didn't tear. So Chaz had a bad one, Luke had a bad one, bunch of people, but it happens on game day.
I was gonna say, I ran out of attempts because I was playing it a little conservative, but I was only off you by 5 pounds, Jed. You might want to get that Euro number up before you start getting beat by a scrub like me.
Well, maybe you ought to learn to make your jumps a little bit better.
Oh shit. Yeah. So yeah, I had 235 behind you, Andy Munsey 230, and then
Which
drops
I didn't
down.
know Andy had that kind of pinch in him. That was pretty impressive.
Oh yeah, no, Andy's been pinching pretty well lately. I think he hit at that World's Strongest Grip competition. I think he pull like a 250 Saxon or something on 3 inch or something. He's been pinching.
I don't recall.
Yeah, I think Andy had a big. I think Andy had a pretty big Saxon lift, if I'm not mistaken. So
Good.
yeah, Andy can pinch. He's just one of those tough dudes right there at 100, kilos, whatever. Yeah, Andy's tough for a lot of us to beat down there. And then yeah, as always, people getting cut on the Euro or whatever. I'm trying to think. I shouldn't say always, but yeah, with those pinch lifts and a lot of people ended up having cuts and stuff like that, whether it be in training and trying to kind of work around it, getting to the
Yeah.
competition, or during competition, maybe it messed it up for a few people. But
Yeah.
when you start lifting maximal weight and it starts to drag or slip and start tearing skin, it happens.
I mean, Luke was cut wide open and bleeding all over the implement, but he's still got 245. So,
Yeah.
he sometimes you have to make a little adjustment. The problem is his thumb skin is fragile and he just moves stuff around and his thumb tears. So he's been dealing with that for 2 weeks, but maybe if he was a little bit tougher.
Yeah. He just has to train with you a little bit more.
No, the problem is he's trying to keep up with me.
Can't do it. Um, uh,
Can't
all
do
right.
that. You have to keep your expectations realistic.
I'm not even gonna mess with you on that one because I was gonna bring up maybe he beat you in a competition not too long ago, but that couldn't be true. There's no way that's true.
Well, I'm also the one that drove up to Canada.
Oh yeah.
I
You went
mean,
split driving time?
yeah, no, there was no offer. He slept most of the way that, and he did his Instagram and his TikToking and stuff like that. And
Damn.
when you have to drive 5 straight hours the day before a contest, I mean, your grip's going to be down a little bit. And I tore my hand on the steering wheel that day, so it kind of interfered in my performance.
And then Axel, right? Final
Yes.
lift. Double overhand Iron Mind Axel.
Had to be Iron
Ben,
Mind. Had to be
yes.
Iron Mind. Yes.
And Ben took the top lift there at 444. And
Impressive.
strong lift. And Dingey was behind him at 425. Now I know Jason's getting ready to do the Arnold as well this weekend. So I think his back was bothering him a bit. He literally took one attempt. I think he opened at 425, and that's all he did. And he just left it at that.
Can't blame him there. Back is a
So,
very sensitive area, and you can't be toying with it when the following weekend there's another big contest. You gotta be smart about it. I'm not saying that Jason lacks in the intelligence department. I'm just saying that his department is just miles and miles behind mine. That's all.
hey, he's got the North American belt. And you guys are going to clash in Ohio. So
Well, we'll see
are
what
we
happens.
we're going to unify the belts? Or is a third party going to come in and take them from both
We
you?
can't unify the belts
It's
because
not North
his belt is
Americans.
not on the line at the
It's
United
not.
States Championship.
It's not. But you could still claim a win over the current North American grip sport champion.
That is true.
So yeah. But I'm Team Ohio with Jason, so I don't know, Jed. I'm kind of conflicted, man.
Okay.
But yeah, moving right along, man. Andy Munsey took third with 413. You were 412 and some change just below him.
Yeah, I
Um,
went for 420 and I strained my lat on the last attempt. That wasn't fun.
then Mike Saffel 393, Evan and Luke 387, and then everything kind of tapers off a little bit from there.
I gotta highlight Evan Norton's 387 because Evan actually competed on Friday the day before.
Okay.
So we use the identical weights. I think we only use like 12 plates the entire time or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But Evan has trained Axel like 3 times and he got like 353 the first week, then 373, and then I think he locked out like 398 or even 400 in training. So I don't know what they have in the water where he's working now, but it's pretty impressive stuff. I think we should consider some testing because it's really unheard of for someone to, and really it's not, I guess it's not, you can't even credit to where he's working now because the same thing was happening before, like the anti-training approach.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's lifting inch dumbbells left and right now. And I mean, as long as it's at the beginning of a session, he surely couldn't do very much with them at the end of a grip contest in the last event. But I'm sure he's got some BS excuse for that too.
Yeah. Hopefully he can type that down in the comments. We'll see what he has to say.
Oh, he won't see this video. He doesn't know what YouTube is. He doesn't have
Yeah.
Instagram. No.
Okay.
If it's not some big dude over 350 pounds showing what he eats in a day, then Evan doesn't watch the video.
Gotcha. So he likes all those videos where it's just a bunch of the strongmen and all they do is try to film themselves nonstop eating their 15,000 to 20,000 calorie diets a day so they can get clicks and all that kind of clickbait fitness
Precisely.
stuff. Yeah, gotcha.
Precisely.
So those are the first three events. Now, those were the only things that were taken into account for the total.
That's correct.
So-
Those are the only lifts that count for the elite total.
And with that, I was just going to make mention that Ben Helms had the highest total at 893. Then it goes Jason Dingey 840, you at 815, Luke Raymond 802, Andy Munsey 795. I had 770, and Clint Ziegler was in the 83 kilo class. Um, but he still hit the elite total by getting over 690 for his. So the people I just mentioned achieved the elite total. There were 7 lifters that made the mark for their weight class, and
Awesome.
just wanted to make sure to put those names out there and give them credit. So yeah, we had 4 people in the 105 class, you at 120, Jason at 120 plus, and then Clint at 83 that all made the cut. And then we could just dive in on the inch dumbbell pull to height, which is basically an inch dumbbell replica or accepted brand model, whatever you want to say, that's true to the inch dumbbell and pulling it to a box or some type of platform. That was the 4th event that determined the outcome for Worldwide Grip Battle. And yeah, how did you feel with that one? Because I saw you finally lifted your 207 bell,
Yep.
and you actually managed to get that up to the minimum height requirement that was set for 8 inches. You had to at least pull the bell up to a height of 8 inches,
That's
and
right.
you did that. So yeah, how'd you feel
Yeah.
about that one? Because that's something
Well,
that
I
you
was
haven't
very
really
happy
lifted.
with it. I I just recently lifted it to kind of lock out with a tilt, which the tilt was perfectly legal in this contest as long as it was done all in one motion. So in other words, you couldn't prop it up on end and then like regrip and lift it. You had to like prop and lift all at the same time. So uh what I did was I started out with the 200, which would have been, it only weighs 197 or something like that. So it wouldn't qualify as a 200-pound inch.
Mhm.
But I got that to, I think, 20 inches. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to go for the 207. We have a 9.5 inch box, and I missed it right-handed. I did the 200 lift earlier to 20 inches right-handed. I missed the 207 right-handed, immediately went down left-handed and got it. But then that irritated my lat injury or whatever's going on back there even more. So I took no more attempts left-handed. It just wasn't going to happen. So that
Gotcha.
that
Yeah.
207 lift was on I believe my second attempt. And then I may have done a third attempt. If I brought up the spreadsheet, I'd be able to tell you exactly. Um, but my last attempt was I went back to the to the 200-pound inch, and I just tried to pull it as high as I could. So uh, it was really just a training lift. It wouldn't have beaten what I'd already
Mhm.
done.
Yeah, and you took second in that event.
Yeah.
Ben had
I guess I
104
should have
kilo bell.
tried well, it wouldn't have mattered. Ben pulled that Millennium replica
Mhm.
to
I think it
uh,
was like
20 inches,
15. I think it was
maybe.
15, I think.
Yeah, 15, 16 inches,
Yeah.
which I wouldn't have gotten it. I might have been able to get the Millennium replica, the 104K. I
Mhm.
might have been able to get it, but we didn't even take it out.
Yeah. So yeah, Ben took that because he lifted that Hall 104 kilo bell up to what I believe was 15 inches. I'm not sure. It was around there, 15, 16 inches.
Yeah,
You lifted 100, or sorry, 100, 207 pound dumbbell
yeah.
up to that. Was it 8 or just over 8 inches for that?
It
And
was.
then,
I think it might have been the box with another box on top.
okay.
I'm not
And
sure, dude.
then third place in that event, me and Jason Dingey tied. We pulled a 190, 191 pound bell to a 24-inch box. We both pulled it to the same box and whatever. Luke was right behind us. And then Andy Munsey, I think he lifted just a regular inch replica or one that was slightly heavier
176.
in
Yeah,
the 170s
yeah.
up. And but yeah, that kind of rounds out the top for that. If you want to
It-
get into I guess real quick, I could just say, you want me to do weight class scoring, or you just want to go overall scoring and kind of finish up with that, maybe?
well, I was just going to go over the way the scoring worked
Okay,
real
yeah, yeah,
quick.
yeah, yeah. Go ahead and explain that, Jed, for sure.
So for whatever bell you use, there was a number of base points. So if you did that bell, you were guaranteed at least 10, 20, 30, 40, etc. points. And then depending on how high you lifted it, you would get an additional point. So for example, if a bell weighed 100 to 109 pounds, you would get 10 base points, and then you would get additional points based on how high you lifted it. So when I did my 207, so if you look at the scores on my second attempt, I scored 111 on the inch. So if you look at the rules document, I got 110 base points because it was a 207-pound bell. And then I got one additional point because it was between 8 and 11 and 3/4 inches. If we look at another one, we'll just pull one up. Luke got a 102, 102 points. And the way that you figure that out is which one is 100 base points. That's a 190 to 199. So that would have been the 200-pound Selene bell that weighs 197 or something like that. And what did I say? He got 2 points?
Yep.
102?
Yeah.
So it was between 12 and 15 and 3/4 inches.
Yeah. So yeah, basically just a base number for the weight of the bell and then additional points, whichever height bracket you pulled it to.
That's right. Exactly.
And
once again, Zach,
just a genius system that
it's a
you
genius
created.
system. I woke up one day and it came to me. I wrote it down.
Yeah.
Went back to sleep, and no one's improved upon it yet. So
you didn't join a website for $1 for the first month and then take all the information and come up with that system?
I wouldn't do that to somebody. I've had that done to me too many times by charlatans.
So, did you want to get into breaking down the weight classes here? Who won which weight class, and then maybe do the overall?
Yeah, let's do that, buddy, because we want to give
Okay.
these guys and gals some recognition for all the hard work they put in. So maybe we can do like the top 2 or 3 for each weight class.
All right, let me see here. I'm getting it brought up here on my phone, Jed. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I can do the women real quick.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Yeah, go ahead.
There were 2 women in the event, and Ashley Munsey won. I believe that is the wife of Andy Munsey.
Yes.
And then Emma Dingey, which is the daughter of Jason Dingey, came in second. So that was the complete list of women on the day. Tucker Moore was all by himself in the 59 kilo class. The 83 kilo class only had 2 people in it. It was Clint Ziegler in first place and Chad McFarland in second. I don't know Chad. I don't know if that might be, I'm sure it's Dustin's relative. I just don't know, age or anything like that.
True.
We look at the 93 kilo class, and 2 of my coaching clients finished in the top 2. It was Andrew Kiro and Josh Culpepper. So Josh made the trip all the way from Troy, Illinois on Thursday. He stayed with me, camped out on my couch Thursday night, and stayed in the spare bedroom on Friday night. And then I booted his ass after that. And then Dylan Helmet came in third in the 93 kilo. He said he was unaware that the inch was counting towards the total points. So he ended up zeroing on the last event. I'm sure that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm sure that would have made a difference in his score, but
I
just went by what I was sent.
Okay, yeah. Because even if he had pulled a smaller, lighter weight inch bell to a certain height, I mean, just for points on the board, that could have changed that.
Yeah.
And then
I'm not sure it would have made enough difference, but who knows? In the 93 kilo class, this was a no doubter. Ben Helms.
That's 105. Sorry, Jed.
Did I? Oh, yeah. You know what? I've had that messed up the whole time. I don't know.
It's all good. Yeah.
I just edited it. Yeah, he took, I think, all the events. So he ended up with like 40 points.
Yeah, for the class he did. Yeah.
And then Luke was in second and you were in third. So nothing too crazy as far as gaps in the scoring. It was, well, kind of crazy. It was 5 points between Ben and Luke, and then 2 points between you and Luke.
Yeah.
I think Chaz, who came in fifth, would have had a better overall contest, but he had a pretty significant tear on the Euro. So
Yeah, I was expecting
he-
him to come out the gate with a big gripper close and then just hit the ground running with the Euro
yeah.
and everything else. But
Friday night was a lot of fun. Chaz came over for dinner. I made burgers. I mean, they both guys said it was the best burgers they've ever tasted, which what else would you expect? And when Chaz left, he went and he was gonna stay the night at his buddy's cabin, which is just a small village to the north away from Wyalusing. But with the recent snow and ice, he couldn't make it to the cabin. So instead he came back and camped out on the couch the second night. So that was nice. It was nice having visitors at my place, and I fed them the best burgers they've ever had.
and then who'd you lift against at 120?
Who did
Sorry,
I
I'm just
who did Chef Napalm lift against?
yeah.
Uh, I was up against Evan,
Okay,
Zach,
yeah.
Zach Seinen, who was a very, very light 120 kilo competitor. He was like 235 pounds. First grip contest. It's the riding partner with Andrew Kiro,
Hmm.
and he got some good experience. And didn't make any mistakes. He just, it's his first contest, and he got some good experience under his belt. And then Dean Munsey rounded out the group at fourth place.
And then above that, Jason
Jason
would
came
take
in
the one.
first.
Yeah,
Yep, took all four events for the 120 kilo class, and Mike Saffel was behind him. So you were at the venue with the only two 120 kilo plus competitors.
yeah. And if we went to the overall, Jed,
Got
because I
it.
know time's getting a little bit close, I guess.
Yep.
Ben Helms took the overall. I mean, out of a possible 40 points, Ben had a 39.7,
Yeah.
with all four events. So, I mean, almost clean sweep other than maybe the 5 pounds that Dingey beat him on Euro.
Yep.
Second place, Jason Dingey. Third place, NAPALM Johnson,
That's
who's
right.
with us right now. Uh, Fourth place, Luke Raymond. Myself in fifth, and Andy Munsey, Evan Norton, Dustin McFarland, Chaz Strange, and Clint Ziegler to round out the top 10.
Yeah.
So, last
Another
thing,
close contest between Luke and myself. For years and
Mhm.
years, he was unable to beat me. Then finally pulled it off at North Americans last year, which I'm sure is the greatest highlight of his career.
Yeah,
And, it's really all downhill from there because it ain't happening again.
gotcha. One question I do have about this competition. You have ran a worldwide grip battle in the past,
Yes.
but it was a different format. Do you
Yes.
feel like this chasing elite thing is going to stick around and maybe that'll be an annual thing? Will it kind of follow suit to how this year's was? Is that something you want to kind of keep the tradition of, or is Worldwide Grip Battle going to have maybe different events in the
Let
future?
me put my future glasses back on.
All right. What are you seeing?
For some things, Zach, for some questions,
Mhm.
there just aren't answers. You're just going to have to wait and see.
Okay. No
But I
problem.
will say that I think the elite total is a very cool thing. And not just because I came up with it. I think it provides everyone with a personal goal that they can use to drive them training to a higher level. I think that in grip sport, we are the alternative that puts more emphasis on max gripper closes, and we are the alternative that uses the Euro in a contest, which is easily the most fairest. And yes, I am using a double superlative there, most fairest pinch event, because the Euro is adjustable. You can use the the best width for you to get max lifts on the Euro. You don't have to judge lockout on the Euro. It's a 7.5 inch lift, and we use the axle as the primary supporting grip. It's only 2 inches, so it's less of a requirement to have giant hands, whereas something a 2.5 inch or 3 inch is definitely going to put the smaller handed individuals at a major disadvantage. The only thing I can say, and I haven't seen any questionable videos, but we as an organization, Grip Sport International, we must push ourselves to have a very high standard, the highest standard in the industry for lockout calls. It is not the end of the world if you get told no lift. It is not the end of the world if you're the judge and you have to tell someone no lift. It's part of the sport, and we are depending on the judges to make these calls. There were some calls that I made that I frankly probably made the person hold the axle a little bit longer than would have been required in other venues and definitely in other organizations. But I challenge anybody to show me an axle lift that was granted a good call that was a questionable call.
All right, yeah, and as videos, I guess, kind of circulate online and stuff from the competition, I guess people can get more eyes on those lifts and the lockouts, and everybody that was competing. But yeah, no, I mean, where we were at, I mean, Jason was judging real good. I mean, strict, and
No doubt. I would
all of
not
us,
doubt Jason
so,
at all. I don't doubt any of the people that were running the contest.
yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
Jason is someone I wouldn't question because he takes this stuff very seriously, and he and I have had conversations about some of the questionable calls that have surfaced online over the years.
Yeah. So yeah, overall, I think it was a good competition. Good. Each venue, I mean, really had strong lifters at it and brought something to the table. And yeah, man, I don't know. Is there anything else to kind of add other than? Yeah, I mean, you kind of already explained the elite total and talked about it, the importance of it and significance of it and stuff. And I think that's a big deal.
I can tell
And
you, I do want to say that the reason that I chose this format with the elite total is because Chaz Strange has brought it up multiple times that he would like to see that make a comeback.
mhm,
I also took into account the fact that Axel has resurged in popularity, and I know that a lot of people are already training Axel, and given the 2 week window opportunity to run an event, not just on the weekend before the Arnold, um, I thought it gave people a good chance to perform well while they were already peaked on the Axel.
mhm.
And Nationals this year has a silver bullet, but and I think probably silver bullet is a bit more popular now, but I didn't see a problem with running the event with Canon rated grippers because quite frankly, the standard now in the sport is Canon rated grippers. And I don't take
Yeah.
that personally at all. I used to rate grippers, but I simply don't have time to anymore and have no interest in doing it. So I direct everybody to go to Canon these days. So if we backtrack a little bit and talk about upcoming contests, I think there's a good chance that you will see this format being used again. I February is the time of year that I have run a contest probably 5 out of the last 7 years. I took a couple years off because one year I waited too long. The next year, I wasn't able to schedule it. And but I'd imagine that February would remain a time slot that would be open for me to run it. And definitely the inch dumbbell for height will always be in the February contest that I run. So I think it's a good idea to, if you have a crowd of people that come to your competitions, invite them to bring their lighter inch dumbbells. We had Clint's 105 pounder, his 125, his 150. We had 3 different inch dumbbells. We had a 180 inch. We had a 200, a 207. So that definitely was a benefit for our location. But
Yeah.
People can definitely crowdfund the contest by bringing their own inch dumbbells. And that will be a benefit going years forward because you will see that event absolutely every time I run a February contest from now on.
Okay. That's good news, man. Like I said, I like hearing that. So, yeah. With all that being said, and like I said, wrapping up the weight classes overall, who did elite, and all that stuff. I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, you can get the belt, get ready to head out. And yeah, Jedd, is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap up? Because I
No,
think we
I
covered it.
appreciate you having me on and the opportunity to discuss the contest. It's a shame that Luke couldn't stick around and be on it, but I guess he had more important things to do, like build equipment, run a business, babysit his son, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
All that stuff is more important than an episode of the Grip Show. So I don't know what to say there, Zach, but I appreciate everybody that watched, and check out dieselcrew.com/store/shop if you'd like to further support me, my passion, and the sport of grip.
All right, Jedd. We'll leave it at that. There's a worldwide grip battle chasing elite results.
9 and 10 right there.